Hands on my stomach, eyes on the ceiling. Something inside me that has no name yet. I wore the midnight blue, I danced with someone honest. I stopped the shape of darkness with hands I don't recognize. The morning after everything, I stood inside the same gray dress, but nothing fits the same, nothing sits the same inside my chest. She came into my room without knocking, eyes like she expected me to break. I told her I don't know what I am. She said she saw the light I made. Something grows in the darkness, something old and something mine. Something grows in the darkness and it answers every time I put my hands up against it. I press my palms and wait. Something grows in the darkness and it doesn't feel like hate. It came back without the crown, sat beside me on the cold stone, opened up a book of something ancient, said I was never really alone. 1,000 years ago a hunter took the darkness inside himself, couldn't kill it so he kept it. Now it wakes in someone else. He held my hand and turned it over, studied it like evidence. Said we train until I own it, said we figure out the rest. Something grows in the darkness.
I do not have the full
Something grows in the darkness, something old and something mine. Something grows in the darkness and it answers every time. He said the power that destroyed him grew too fast for him to hold. Something grows in the darkness and I carry what he stole. Not a demon, not a demon, not a weapon, not a weapon, not a child. Something older, something chosen, something different, something first.
Not his.
Ash
His power
on his
destroyed him in the
hands,
end.
but they pulse now.
It grew too
Same
fast.
cold morning, something grows, something grows, something grows. The kitchen girl was always there. She stood inside the archway, crown and golden folded arms. The girl she kept in kitchens was never what she thought. She walked into the garden where I sat with ancient words. She said so she was never just a servant, like the truth was something that it hurt. She said all her life she thought the chosen one were gold, but the special one was sweeping floors while destiny was told. Not forgiveness, not an enemy, something cracked between us there. She said whatever's coming for us, she will learn to share. Dark and white inside my palms, dark and white in both of mine. Dark and white inside my palms, and I am learning every time. She gave me something to hold on to, a stone that lights when I'm still. Dark and white inside my palms, and something in me finally will. In the basement full of torches, books and scrolls and something old, he showed me diagrams of power growing faster than it's told. Not a child, not a demon, just a vessel, just a seed. Ancient energy concentrating until the carrier is free. I picked up one of all his books and felt the pull against my chest. Set it down and raised my palm, a single spark, the smallest test. He said, not from the head you're thinking, that is why. He said, what were you feeling when the light came in the night?
I cannot control when it comes. It just really happens.
Dark and white inside my palms, dark and white and answering me. Dark and white inside my palms, the stone begins to glow and breathe. She came with something from the first winter, placed it in my open hands. Dark and white inside my palms, and something in me under. She said this one's a bloodline. She said hold it, just hold still, and the light began to flow in. Slow and steady, not against my will. Not a burst, not desperation, not the panic of the ball. Something I could actually carry, something I could find in a way. She came without the white dress, no warm glow, no angel smile, just a woman in the darkness who had been walking alone. She sat beside me on the bench like she belonged there, like she knew. She asked me if it hurt, I said no, what scares me too. She said it means the power isn't
That is the
finding
part
what
that
you
scares
are.
me
She
most.
said or it's absorbing you. I said both seem equally far. Tell me the truth. She said all of it, not what you show, not the trap, not the performance, everything you've never told. 300 years she searched for me, 300 years of wrong and right, 300 years she carried darkness, looking for the bloodline like she was a hunter. Once like him she found the power, thought she'd win. 300 years inside the darkness, now she needs me to begin. You swept floors for years, she told me you were invisible and alone. That's not weakness, that's the preparation that the power calls its home. You used me, said to her back, you put everyone in danger here. She said yes without a flinch, without apology or fear. I turned away and raised my palm. The light came stronger than before. She said it means it's accepting you. I said what do I need it for? She said something worse is coming, something that ends everything. She said I am the only answer. I said so let it begin. Everywhere. 300 years she searched for me, 300 years of loss and lies, 300 years she broke every rule. Now she looks at me and tries. I don't trust her, but I believe her. There's a difference, and I know 300 years inside the darkness. Now she needs me to begin. You swept floors for years, she told me you were invisible and alone. That's not weakness, that's the preparation that the power calls its home. You used me, I said to her back, you put everyone in danger here. She said yes without a flinch, without apology or fear. I turned away and raised my palm. The light came stronger than before. She said it means it's accepting you. I said what do I need it for? She said something worse is coming, something that ends everything. She said I am the only
Are
answer.
you alright?
The work begins. Empty courtyard, cool gray morning, palms raised up and eyes closed down. Not from panic, not from darkness, this time I choose to call it out. He stands back and watches steady, arms folded patient, no one speaks. He said not from the head you're thinking, that is why the light retreats. She came across the stone with something old and carved and worn and real. First hunter stone, she said it simply, hold it, let it feel. And the light began to flow and slow and steady, not a burst. Not the panic of the ballroom, not the desperation first. Something I could actually carry, something I could call and keep, something I could choose to quiet, something I could choose to speak. Fire remains when the training's over. Fire remains in the stone I hold. Fire remains when the day gets longer. Fire remains in the dark and cold. Mirror watch from the stone archway, something new across her face. Fire remains in the hands they gave me. Fire remains and takes its place. By the evening I was sitting, stone just glowing in my lap, pressing both my hands against it, feeling dark and white react. Not two enemies, not fighting, dark pulse answering the white, like a conversation older than the differences between wrong and right. She watched from the entrance of the courtyard. Through the day she stayed and saw something shifted in the princess, something cracking in the law. She said you'll have what the palace offers, whatever resources you need. She said this is still my home and I will not let it bleed. Fire remains when the alleys gather. Fire remains in the four of us. Fire remains in the empty ballroom. Fire remains without the fuss. Every morning cold and early, every night the disc glows warm. Fire remains in the girl from the kitchen. Fire remains through every storm. He said, are you afraid? I shook my head. Not anymore, he said, 2 weeks. I said I know. He said whatever's coming. I said I know. I said I know. In the corridor past midnight, he stood at the window in the dark. She came from the shadow without warning and told him what she kept apart. Bad enough, I spent 3 centuries. Bad enough, I broke every rule. But she is real, what she has is real. The first true hope in something cruel. Fire remains when the truth gets harder. Fire remains when the cost is clear. Fire remains in the girl who woke up. Fire remains, she spread a towel and the daughter, one from this like something
comes to
different
it
in the
comes to
way
her
you
first.
stare.
do know
Something
when it comes to
different
her,
in the
she's
thing.
lost
My brain from you know I could steady. Time to say or says ain't ready. Feet and
She was not the only one I failed to protect, but she is the last chance to make it right. You should eat something. Training again this afternoon.
In the dark.
It answers. I know.
Are you afraid?
Not anymore. I must.